Do you know what's so powerful about Jesus feeding the 5,000? After John's disciples had buried him, Jesus' apostles had come to him and they were reporting to him about everything that they taught and everything that they have done. And because the apostles had been dealing with so many people, they never had a chance to eat. So Jesus tells them, all right, let's go to a solitary place. All right, you guys need some rest. You put in a lot of hard work. I'm proud of you. Now let's go to a solitary place. Now, right after that, something very powerful is said. For in Mark chapter 6, verses 32 and 33, it says, "So they went away by themselves in a boat to a solitary place. But many who saw them leaving recognized them and ran on foot from all the towns and got there ahead of them." Jesus and his disciples had to get there by boat. It doesn't say where this solitary place is, but it says the people from the neighboring towns ran over to that solitary place by foot. And not only did they get there by foot, but they got there ahead of them. What you have to understand is that these people are no different from you and I. These weren't saints. These weren't preachers, pastors, doctors, lawyers. These were just regular people, just like you and I. And these regular people, they struggled with sins. And the large crowd that followed after Jesus and the apostles, there were addicts. There were those who struggled with their lust, those who struggled with sexual immorality, those who struggled with anger, those who had sickness and disease, those who had hurts, pain, depression, suicidal thoughts. This large crowd of people, they suffered like you and I. But do you know what separates the 5,000 people that Jesus fed from you and I? It is their faith. Jesus was going to a solitary place with his apostles. Only Jesus and the apostles knew where they were going. Not the people in the neighboring towns, not the large crowd, not the 5,000. Just Jesus and his apostles. But these people heard that Jesus was going to go to a solitary place. And without questioning, without hesitating, without wavering, they left their homes and they followed. Not only did they follow, but they got to that place of solitude before Jesus. If you want your healing, if you want your miracle, if you want your breakthrough, if you want to overcome, then it's not enough to meet Jesus where he's at. We need to try and beat Jesus to where he's going. And I know that's not possible, but that's how much we have to desire after God's heart. But it says that God would leave the 99 to chase after the one, meaning that God would never leave you nor forsake you. But we must have faith like the 5,000 to chase after the one. Because the 5,000 didn't know what would come from following Jesus to that solitary place. They didn't know that they were going to receive healing. They didn't know if they were going to receive a word. They didn't know if Jesus was going to turn them away. Because it was never Jesus' intention to feed the 5,000. It was never his intention to heal them in the first place. It was never his intention to teach them and to give them a word. For it says in Mark chapter 6, verses 34, when Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them because they were like sheep without a shepherd. So he began teaching them many things. Jesus had compassion on them. Jesus was moved by compassion, not because of the multitude of people that were standing on the shore waiting for him. Jesus didn't care about numbers. Jesus cared about faith. And it was 5,000 people filled with sin, filled with sickness and disease, battling demons, battling depression, suicidal thoughts, anger, wrath, hurts, trauma. 5,000 people believing in faith. For as it says in Jeremiah 29, verse 13, you will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. In their hearts, they believed that Jesus could deliver them. In their hearts, they believed that Jesus had their healing. Jesus had their deliverance. Jesus had their promise. Jesus had their miracle. The 5,000, they didn't just run down 5 blocks and follow after Jesus. They ran for miles, seeking him, figuring out where it is that this boat is taking Jesus and the apostles. They mapped it out because not only did they seek after Jesus, but they beat him to his destination. They sought after Jesus with their whole heart, and they found exactly what they were looking for. If you are struggling with an addiction, with pain, with hurt, with suicide, with depression, whatever it may be, seek after Jesus. And don't just seek after him, but seek after him with your whole heart. Don't just pray, hey, Jesus, where are you? But start praying, Jesus, here I am. Here's my heart, oh God. Don't just seek after God, but make yourself accessible to God so that God can use you, so that God can heal you, so that God could finish the work that he has started in you. See, we seek after God's mercy, but we don't receive God's mercy because we don't make ourselves accessible to receive it. We reject God's mercy because our hearts are not open to it. We can't fathom God's mercy. We feel as if we're too far gone and that we don't deserve it, so we reject it. Remember that God's power is made perfect in weakness. What some may view as weakness, surrender, opening up, being vulnerable, confessing your sins, confessing your weakness allows God's power to be made perfect in you. You must have faith like the 5,000, that no matter what we're dealing with, no matter what we're going through, no matter what we may face, let our faith lead us to the solitary place, the hiding place. As it says in Psalms 32 verses 7, you are my hiding place. You shall preserve me from trouble. You shall surround me with songs of deliverance. The 5,000 followed Jesus to that solitary place, the hiding place. And not only were they fed the loaves of bread and fish, but they received deliverance. They received healing. They received salvation. They received wisdom, and they received mercy. Let the faith of the 5,000 lead you into the hiding place, because who knows what might just happen? Who knows?